We all have our favorite breeds, and the Deathlayer has been one of my favorite. And right now, he is the only one right there. That's Okara, my Deathlayer Rooster, and he's the only one I have. And it's been quite a journey, and I want to tell you our story. So I never set out to become a Deathlayer advocate. Like many keepers, I was drawn by the striking appearance and the rarity and romantic history of the breed. Just the name alone, Deathlayer, kind of carries a legendary weight and just something cool about it. What followed was a long, frustrating, and often heartbreaking journey, but also one filled with learning, resilience, and eventually clarity. So over the course of about a year, I tried hatching nearly 40 Deathlayer eggs from various breeders. They came from all across the country, and none hatched. Oddly enough, the best results came from a small breeder I found on eBay, and he sent me 8 eggs, and 4 hatched. And that's where I got Rogue, Phoenix, and they were my hens, and Beast and Storm, my roosters. Beast was eventually given to a friend, and Storm grew into a very handsome rooster. And then I had Phoenix and Rogue, who were my beautiful hens. And I had such high hopes. I believed this would be the start of something. I really wanted to breed these rare birds and be able to introduce them to people in our area, and just bring them back a little bit, because their numbers had declined so much. But from the beginning, something just wasn't right. Despite the breed's reputation for longevity and reliable egg production, Rogue and Phoenix were the worst layers in my flock. Even my older hens outperformed them. It was disappointing, but more than that, it started to raise questions. Okara, he's sleeping. Oh, there, he moved. I was like, he's fallen asleep standing there. I began noticing just how common poor fertility and hatch rates were, and that was one of the problems I'd run into just from all the different breeders where I got the eggs. And I thought maybe it was something with how I was trying to hatch them, my incubator, but I had no problem hatching other breeds and even other shipped eggs. It was just the Deathlayers weren't hatching. I also have Pita Pentas, and that's how I was introduced to the Pita Pentas, because I was sent Deathlayer eggs, and the breeder knew, I guess, she was having some problems, and she said she had some extra eggs, and she threw them in, and I got some Brahmas, and I got Pita Penta, and I forget what else. She threw a few other breeds in there, but out of them, not one single Deathlayer hatched either. And but I got a bunch of breeds I wasn't really looking for. So that was just kind of the start, where I started like asking questions of why, what's wrong with this breed? Why can't I hatch any of these eggs? And and I knew when I was hatching other eggs that shipped with them, and they were hatching and the Deathlayers weren't, that there probably was some kind of problem. But and I think so the hatch rates, it wasn't just for me, but across the Deathlayer community. And when I started asking around, what I heard was a pattern. It was inbreeding, shallow gene pools, beautiful birds bred too narrowly for feather pattern and not function. So but still I wanted to do something for this breed. So Storm and Rogue eventually gave me a single chick. You're looking at him. That's Okara right here. And he was the only one to survive many fertility attempts. And of course it was a rooster. I really, at the time, because I had Storm, I was not looking for another rooster. And I had hoped so badly that Okara was going to be a hen, but that didn't happen. But he was very special, and he still is. So when without having any luck with breeding the Deathlayers, I did start to experiment with some hybrids, And I was curious and hopeful, and so Storm was paired with a few of my other hens, and I started what I called the Deathlayer project. And these were hybrid chicks with Deathlayer lineage. And we hatched about 15 to 20 of them, and some looked remarkably close to the original breed. But as expected in the first generation crosses, there was no consistency. It was fun, but it didn't fix the core issue, and the original line just wasn't strong. I'll tell you, Okara is napping, even so he's not moving very much, although he's standing right there. Usually he's very active, especially when I'm sitting in the run, but he is a good boy. A little boring right at the moment. Hey, Okara. Oh, there you go. Sorry, I called you boring. I know. Yeah, you're just not showing your stuff right now, buddy. Yeah, oh, there. Okay, yeah, you're a handsome rooster. Look at you, see? But, you know, last year Phoenix passed away, and Storm, he was beautiful, but he was becoming increasingly difficult to manage. And he became more aggressive and overprotective, and I made the difficult choice to send him to a sanctuary where he could live safely and with dignity. Unfortunately, it got to the point where I couldn't even come in and do health checks, and although I was able to catch him and move him away from the hens, he was so traumatized with me catching him that he would injure himself, and it just got to the point that it was not going to be right for his safety and for mine and for the hens, because you know it's really important that you are able to monitor them and do health checks, and especially with the you know, with the Deathlayers having fertility issues and reproductive issues. So so that was, you know, so I sent Storm to a sanctuary, and then Rogue stopped, my hen, she stopped laying, and first it was sporadic, and then for about 6 months not a single egg. And about that time I gave up on the Deathlayers. I tried to rehome Okara a few times, and you know, thinking I was ready to close the chapter, but no one wanted him. And I guess, you know, roosters are a dime a dozen, and even if they're a rare rooster and they're fancy and they're handsome, no one wanted him. But turned out I'm glad, because I am very happy that you know, I kept him and that he's here. So yeah, with the my goodness, buddy. Okay, he's really he's like, well, and then Rogue died last week, and some things shifted. I realized the breed doesn't need romanticizing. It needs honesty. And look at him. He's like, look at my butt, Mom. It needs keepers who are willing to look at what's broken and ask the hard questions. It needs small, intentional stewards who care enough to try, even when the path is unclear. So I'm starting over, not with flashy breeding goals or rare bird hype, but with respect, with realism, and with care. So I've gone from 2 pens to 4, and my roosters today include my Pita Pinta, a silver Appenzeller Spitzhaben, which was not an intentional rooster that I planned to go with. He actually, when I had ordered some Lakenvelder eggs, the breeder threw in some extra eggs, and they looked very similar, because I've never had either breed before. They looked very similar until they got to be about a week or 2 old, and then a couple of the babies started developing crests. And I reached out to the breeder to say, you know, is this a mistake? They told me I was mistaken, and I mixed my eggs up. And then they reached back a day or 2 later and said, oh yeah, we threw some Appenzeller Spitzhabens in with your Lakenvelder eggs. So that's how I ended up with them. And then I have some Belgian Duckles. And then of course there's Okara, my last true Deathlayer. That's him right here, my handsome boy. So I'm rebuilding my flock with purpose. Testing, observing, and honoring what these birds are and what they could be with careful, thoughtful breeding. I don't know where this will lead, but I do know this The Deathlayer deserves better. Not hype, not myth, not empty promises. True intention, stewardship. Rogue, Phoenix, Storm, and Okara taught me more than I ever expected. And I'm not walking away. I'm just getting started. So let's see what happens. Stay with us on this journey and follow me for more. I'm going to be talking more about the breed and what some of the issues are and some ways that we can, you know, make changes so that we can preserve this beautiful breed and you know, and do something right for them and not, you know, mysticize that, you know, that they're going to lay till they die, because they're not production layers. They might be consistent layers, and they do lay into their old age, some of them, when there isn't the inbreeding and the genetic issues that have developed, but they are not like a leghorn that's going to give you 300 eggs a year. They might give you 150 eggs. But there's something very beautiful and majestic about this heritage breed, and they deserve to be honored for what they are. And I hope to do that with a video series here on my channel talking about this breed. So stay tuned, and more will come. And say Okara, maybe he'll be a little more active and energetic. But look, he's posing and modeling because he says, I am such a happy, handsome boy. So thank you for joining us, and stay tuned for more coming. Bud, you were so chill this afternoon when I was making the video. Yeah, now you're all full of yourself. Yeah, say normally I don't chill like that, but it was a warm day and I was resting on the roost bar and taking a nap, he said. But now, see, you can check me out, see how handsome I am. And yeah, I can show off a little for you. Right, bud? Yeah. It's funny, when I made the video this morning, or well, it was this afternoon, but he was just so chill. Oh, now he's going to chase one of the girls. But now he says, you can see me. I'm not always that chill. Right, bud? I know. Oh, I know. But said, but I'm a good boy and I'm a handsome boy. And my name's Okara. Right, bud? So I just wanted to show you because, yeah, I mean, he just was like standing there. He had his eyes closed and he was relaxing. And I was like, yeah, Okara, you know, I mean, say we do that once in a while, but we also like to be a rooster and run around and make a lot of rooster noises and check out the girls and see what they're doing. But just on an end note too, so Okara previously was only with 2 hens, and he actually did really, really well with just the 2 hens. And then when, you know, I decided to, I made my mind up that I was going to keep him and revive my project, I moved him to more hens. And he honestly doesn't quite know what to do with himself now because he was not used to additional hens, but he seems to be settling in. His original hen is up there, that's Lake Girl, and then I do have a Samani he was with, and she right now is in timeout because she doesn't play nice. So so she's separated right now, and I do have her. She stays in a little pen on the outside so that I can integrate her. None of my Samanis play very nice with the other hens, so it takes some time when I have to integrate them. But otherwise, Okara's done well. And then if you could see in the very, very back, there's some babies back there, and they will eventually be going in here with him. They're about 8 or 9 weeks old, and they will eventually, but they are just on their side and they can see each other and they have their own little coop, and they will ultimately be integrating when they get a little bit larger. Hi, Abby, and this is Abby. So Abby used to be with Tio with the Pita Pinta, but I've moved her here with Okara, and hopefully she seems to be doing pretty well. You can see she was a favorite of Tio of the Pita Pinta, and Okara seems to like her, but she needed a break. I took her saddle off so that she could get a break, and I just have to watch. Okara doesn't seem to be jumping on her too much, so maybe her feathers will grow back, but if I need to, I will put her saddle back on. But that's kind of an update. But you can see, yeah, Okara was just being sleepy and snoozy and just relaxing in the afternoon sun, and now he's all happy and feisty again. And he said, I got my nap, and he said, I'm glad to introduce you to my girls. But this is my Deathlayer Rooster, and these are the girls he's with right now. So the only one that I have chicks from with him is Lake Girl up there, and I haven't hatched any in a while, so they're gonna all take a break for the summer, and then I will probably hatch a few in the fall that I will grow out, and then I will start working on my Deathlayer project. But just giving everybody a chance to settle in and, you know, and hang out and get accustomed to each other and see how it goes. So that's about it. Oh boy, Tio is, I think, it's one of his hens. But anyway, so that's my plan, and there's my boy, and we'll see how that goes.
You say I make you nervous, a tragedy, I'm a beautiful disaster, a reckoning. You wonder how I got this way. You think I'm someone to be saved, someone to clean up and tame. Oh, some things never change, never change. You think I would look pretty on your arm once you cover up my bruises and battle scars, but it always ends the same. Can't bear the things I've had to face, got you crying on your knees in pain. Oh, some things never change, never change. You'll break your back to make me feel again, suffocate to make me breathe again, lose your mind from endless pain. Some things never change, never change. Redemption never came. I stopped asking for forgiveness, cause you should know only fools tread where the angels fear to go, but you keep trying to get too close. Save myself by turning into stone, so save your judgment cause you just don't know. But some things never change, never change. They say I should feel guilty and change my ways, leaving crumpled bodies in my wake. Swear I didn't mean to make them break, but they're so delicate and so mundane, and they keep coming like a moth to a flame. Oh, some things never change,